Hello and welcome back everyone to the second video on the Omnium channel. Today we're going to be ranking the best and worst empires in history based off of sheer power and aura where necessary. So let's get into it. So starting it off with a lesser known empire, we have Poland-Lithuania, which was a fairly powerful empire while it lasted. But due to its internal strife between the Poles and the Lithuanians, along with external pressures due to it being basically in the center of a map and always being attacked on all sides, it did not last as long as it might have otherwise. B tier because it's cool. Next up, we have the largest empire ever in history, especially when accounting for population, namely the British Empire. A little bit recent, fairly controversial among certain people, but generally a positive on the world. We can either put it up here in S tier because it's huge, or we can put it down in C tier because we're not British. I'm gonna put it in B tier because that's more or less splits the difference while still siding with the Americans. But we don't want too many in B tier, so we're not going to put too many back there. Next up, we have fascist Italy. So, since they're against the Americans, we're going to put them on D tier, but they do have cool architecture, so actually we're going to do it in C. Next, we have Portuguese Empire, which was the rival of the Spanish during the early colonization period of the Americas. They did not do as well. They colonized Brazil and parts of Africa. So, since they lost to the Spanish, we're going to put them in C tier. Oh, funny story about this. So, the Spanish and the Portuguese were squabbling over who could have different parts of the New World. And so, if you go on a map, and you look at right where the westernmost border of Brazil is, right there, the Pope said that everything west of that was Spain's, and everything east of that was Portugal, which is just a hilarious way to try and decide a territorial dispute. Because that did not happen. That was not abided by in the least. Nobody cared. Just did whatever the heck they wanted anyway. But that's just kind of what happens when a not super powerful person says something. But it was agreed upon. Anyway, next up, the Nine Germans. So obviously F tier. We can't do anything about that. I can't even talk about it without getting yelled at. So now we've got, I believe this is the Egyptian Empire, extremely old. We still have a lot of it, but that's mostly just rags and tatters. In fact, one famous Egyptologist stated that it basically said just that. It said that the Egyptians, an empire, is essentially just a bundle of rags and tatters. What is exceptional, though, is just how many of those we have. And how far back they go. For instance, the pyramids are we are closer to Cleopatra than Cleopatra was to the building of the pyramids, even on the earliest timescales, which we are not getting into the whole alternate timelines, Younger Dryas, pyramids are power plants. Those are fun, but we're not doing that right now. So, A tier, because pyramids are awesome. Next up, we have the Byzantine Empire, or if you're stupid and British, the Byzantine Empire. So, I am inclined to put the Byzantines up in A tier because of Greek fire and the fact that they claim they descended from the Romans. However, they fell off pretty quick and got trampled by pretty much everybody around them, so we might move them down to B tier or even C tier. The only difference is they were able to beat the Vikings off. I suppose technically they were the Rus at that point, but still. They were able to beat the Vikings off when they attacked Constantinople by using Greek fire. So we're going to put them in B tier, I think. You put something in. And then next up, we have, what is this? Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary, one of the main central powers of World War One. They are a fusion between the Austrian Habsburgs and the Hungarians, mostly. They also had several small ethnic groups which they were basically trying to hold together into one cohesive unit. That did not work out too well, and it was going to fall apart anyway, but World War One ended it a little sooner. However, they do have cool uniforms, so we will put them in C tier. And really, I gotta be a little bit meaner, because these bottom tiers, and maybe a little nicer too, because these bottom and top tiers are not looking great. So now we have World War I Germany, or I think that is the First Reich. I don't know. I forget. Doesn't matter anyway. So we're going to take them and probably going to. I might put them in D tier. I might move them up later. Actually, no. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. I think we're going to want to have the Portuguese here, and then the German Empire we're going to have a bottom of C. Because I do think that the Germans are a little bit less powerful, at least at the start of World War One, than the Austro-Hungarian Empire was. But I'm not 100% sure. They're basically tied, and they acted pretty much in tandem with each other anyway. Next up, this is the Russian Empire at its greatest extent. I think we will, if we are counting the USSR along with that, I think we can easily put that in at least top of A tier, probably S tier. But if we are counting only up to the Russian Revolution, it goes top of B, bottom of A. So since it's yellow, I'm going to assume it's just Tsarist Russia. So we're going to leave it probably top of B. Now, this is the Chinese Empire. If I'm going to be fair, I have to say that it's only... I don't know what border that is, though, and I'm not going to bother looking it up. It looks like modern China's borders. So it might just be... Yeah. Okay, so next we have the Chinese Empire. I think I'm going to not be fair to the Russians, and say that this counts going all the way back through their history, and not just the current China. And just by sheer age, you got to put them top of A. Plus, we're counting modern China, which I think I am. I might move that up to S tier because they are technically a superpower. And with that, that makes the first S tier. That's great. Now we have the Mali Empire. Extremely rich, not very big, didn't last all that long. D tier. I believe that is Mansa Musa. Mansa Musa of Mali. He will be if you Google who is the richest person ever, he is likely to come up. Because he is the richest person who, as regards to personal wealth. If you're counting like dictators, who are basically the government of their country, then you've got a lot of people on top of him. For instance, Augustus Caesar would be measured in the trillions. I believe his wealth reached its peak when he personally owned all of Egypt, which is just crazy to think about, but whatever. Mansa Musa, I believe, was in the 500 billion range, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not Googling it right now, but he's the high mark of the Mali Empire. Didn't do much before or after him, so we're going to put him D. Actually, yeah, D, because they didn't do much. Incan Empire. Lame. F tier. Look at this. Can't even conquer these little holes in your empire. You get crushed by the Aztecs. You lose everything. So, yeah. Ethiopian Empire. Not great either. Maybe a little bit better because they're Christian and I'm Christian too, so I like that. We're gonna probably... So, yeah, well, okay. I can't rank anything over for these guys. So we're not gonna do that. Roman Empire. S tier. Fight me. Next up, we have the French Empire. French colonial empire, that is. So, they're French, so I don't know if I can put them anything higher than C tier. Wait, hold my baguette and all that. So, to be fair, that does include Napoleon, and Napoleon's cool, so maybe we could put him in B tier. But Napoleon only lasted a little while, and then he lost to the combined might of the rest of Europe, which is not a small feat in and of itself, but I think we're going to put him... Okay, yeah, the French Empire has to be over the Byzantines, I think, just on power levels. Now we have Imperial Japan. You suck. You're just over the not so nice Germans. It's another thing about the Germans. They're normally extremely nice, very orderly people. And then, we must kill the Jews! Now, Holy Roman Empire, which, as the meme goes, was neither holy nor Roman nor empire. Originally founded by Charlemagne when he was crowned Holy Roman Empire, or by the Pope, whatever that means. Nobody really knew at the time. Nobody really knows now. It was great under him. It split up under his sons because he was stupid and decided to split it 3 ways. It's not a great idea generally, but he did it. So now, and then it gradually just devolves into the mess that is tons of flags everywhere. Basically, just Google Holy Roman Empire map and look at the hellscape that is the border war. They would elect the Holy Roman Emperor, and what would happen is all the dukes, of the nobles, I guess is a better word, would get together and vote on the new one every time he died. And it was not a great way of choosing their leader. They could never agree on it, and then when the Protestant Reformation happened, half of the states went Protestant, half of them stayed Catholic, and that caused massive civil war. D tier. I'm going to put them over Ethiopia, below the Portuguese. Oh, the Spanish Empire's not on here, is it? Did I miss it somewhere? No, it's not here. Mongolian Empire. Largest contiguous land empire conquered from Korea all the way to Russia. Was great under Genghis Khan, and Kublai Khan kept it up, and then it fell off pretty quick from there, but the sheer size of it, it has to go in A tier. Bottom of A tier, though. Muslim conquests. Yeah. So this is probably... I mean, it's impressive that it got that far. It was great while it lasted for them. But as after the Crusades and they lost to the Christians at all, they kind of fell off and retreated in on themselves and only read the Quran and stopped researching things. Didn't do anything after that. And now we have the backwaters that are the Arab states. If you're Muslim, don't shoot me. Only half joking. So I think we're going to probably put... I mean, size has to put it over the... Yeah, just by size, we got to put them over top of C, yeah. Alright, Mughal Empire. Knockoff version of the Muslim conquests. D tier. No, middle of D tier. I'm considering moving Holy Roman Empire past them, too. I'm going to be fair. These are tied. Alright. Okay, this must be the Spanish Empire, because I don't know where else you'd put it. Spain was extremely large. It was large enough at one point that the sun never set on it, so it's not just the British Empire, which actually, now that I think about it in a more fair light, we are moving that up to A tier, along with the Russian Empire. Yeah. Why do I pull in Lithuania there? No, I'm questioning my life choices. This was not a good idea. Alright, so Spain. Yeah, below the Byzantines, because... Nah. Tied with the French, I think. Yeah. Poland, Lithuania, below the Byzantines. I must not have organized these right. Yeah, what am I thinking? These guys are going to stay at the bottom. I think that's fair. If you don't like that, probably go see somebody about an exorcism. Alright, Swedish Empire. Extremely cool, short-lived, invaded the Russians and the surrounding Nordic states. It was an incredible rise to power and then an even more incredible fall. They're Vikings, so we have to give them B tier and put them just beneath the Byzantines. And last but certainly not least, the global hegemon, the American Empire. Top of S tier. Hoorah, baby. Let's keep that. Okay, but to be fair, we are kind of falling off, so I'm not putting it below China. I might put it below the Roman Empire. But I don't know, maybe not. We do have nukes. If we go, okay. So this is how I think we could do it based off of just my instincts. I think that's fair. So now I'm going to do it again, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to skip to the end. I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to skip to the end, and I'm going to have it done by just sheer power level without respect to technology. So, yeah. All right, and we're back. So I think this is fair. So the S tier are basically the nuclear powers. Then we've got the losing side of World War II. And after that, we're going to have the losing side of World War One, the Mongols, Spain, and Portugal, along with the Roman Empire. I really don't know if I should keep them here or move them down here. They're huge and they're super cool, but I think I'm going to leave them bottom of B. Next up, we've got the Islamic conquests, the Swedish Empire, Byzantine Empire, Poland, Lithuania, oops, and Egypt. Then, no, no, let's swap these out, actually. Yeah. Holy Roman Empire, then D, Egypt, and the Mughal Empire, Ethiopia, Mali, and Incas. I think that's fair for sheer power level. If we're going by vibes, probably we're going to keep. Honestly, I don't know if I want to do that. Because that's going to end up being mostly architecture, and certain countries on here that I don't want to put as high as they already are going to have to be ranked pretty high. So I don't think we're going to do that one, because we're just starting out, and I'd rather not get banned right away. So, let me know what you think. Yell at me if you don't like where I put things. That would be extremely helpful, actually. Yell at me a lot. That'd be great. Yeah. Like the video. Subscribe to the Omnium channel. Keep it up. See you later. Bye.